Screen, Hauk. One-on-one with Arsenault. Clayton the drive. Clayton goes inside.
I don't know what they're feeding them at Florida, but when the game gets down to the final minutes, they perform even better. My name is Bryce Wilson, and I am a mental performance coach who coaches athletes on how to transform from a loser's to a winner's mindset. Today we're going to be reacting to Florida versus Houston in the NCAA Championship.
Richard.
And already 5 offensive rebounds for Houston.
Here's the rebound again. Henlongton lays it in.
Watch the Houston players after this play. This is what I was pointing out in the Florida versus Auburn game. Auburn didn't do a good job of bouncing back from failure and resetting the play. And right here, Houston is already slow to restart the play, and they're throwing their hands up, and blaming each other. And this is early in the game. Let's see if Florida ends up doing the same thing, since this is a high-pressure game.
Florida's got to do a better job sticking to the opportunities for offensive rebounds early. Nice pass. Francis.
All right, great teamwork. It seems like Houston has more physicality, so they're going to need to use that to their advantage.
Yes.
There's Roberts on a cross. Tough. Loops it in.
There we go. They're using their physicality to their advantage. Houston is using their advantage. Let's see what kind of advantage Florida can use.
Deflected and a steal. Wilson glides in and lays it home.
Notice that response to failure. It was a bad mistake by the Gators, but his teammates still followed the play and gave us everything to try to block the layup. That shows that they're willing to fight for their teammates and not blame their teammates, which is what Auburn did in the last game. That shows they're willing to fight for their teammates and not blame their teammates, which is what Auburn did in the last semifinal, where whenever their teammate made a mistake, they would get frustrated and point at them. When your teammate makes a mistake, try to fix it for them, and they will do the same for you.
The spin. Again! Javier Francis,
They're playing at a high level, and both are making big plays. But when there's a couple minutes left, who's going to make the big plays then?
Clayton getting involved offensively. They double him. Nice look. Ooh, nice touch pass. Richards got a 3.
Great teamwork from Florida. They're all moving the ball around, sharing the ball. Everyone's getting a chance to score, and everyone is pulling their own weight.
Houston. Hauk gives it up. Hamilton rejected by Francis. Short lob it up.
I like this.
Okay, both teams are showing great teamwork. This is why they made it to the final. They have talented players, but also talented teams, and they're working together. This is a good matchup.
Like the goaltending.
Get it ahead. Richard. He will fire. Connects.
This guy Richard is on fire right now, and it's good of his teammates to notice that, and they're feeding him the ball. That shows good team chemistry and good awareness of their teammates. Even though Clayton Jr. is their best player, he's not selfish in saying, yo, let me shoot, let me get hot. He knows his teammate's hot, so he's going to pass to him. And then lastly, look at this Houston player. On the last play, there is some controversial call on whether it could have been goaltending, and the Houston player is blaming the Florida Gators basket on the ref, like they couldn't have just played defense. That's why it's important not to blame anyone else, not the refs, not your teammates, not your coach, because those things are out of your control. Stopping Florida from scoring was still in their control, which is what Houston should be focusing on.
Gotta come back to that left arm.
Clayton. Nice move it up. Condon is there, and he flushes it down.
This Clayton player is one of the best players in the nation, but he's also super unselfish. That's what you want to see out of a leader and your most talented player. If he can score and also help his teammates score, then the whole team is a threat. So even if you're really talented and the best player, try to help your teammates carry the load with you, and it's going to be a lot easier for you.
Team possession. Uzan, the trigger man, get it in. Cryer gets a clean look, and bottom! And
they're both making clutch plays. Everyone's operating at a high level right now.
And you made an interesting point at halftime. Clayton doesn't have that middle game. Nice lob here, the seal.
Wow. Notice Florida is down by 12 points. Now, they are known as a second half team, and they've been known to make crazy comebacks over and over and again. So do not count Florida out. As evidenced by this play, they still believe that they can win, and that's all that matters. It doesn't matter what anyone else is predicting or projecting onto them, as long as they believe that they can win.
Gets it back. Shot clock at 5. Rejected on the perimeter by Hauk. Running the floor, and Hauk twisting.
Great play. Man, I got to research what they do, because they seem to perform even better when they're losing and when the game's on the line. One of the reasons they may be able to do this is because they won it. And I would even say won it for their teammates. This Florida team seems like the most unselfish team out of the Final Four teams, and that will give you even more motivation to make those crazy plays if you're fighting and doing it for your teammate over yourself.
Screen, Hauk. One-on-one with Arsenault. Clayton the drive. Clayton goes inside.
I don't know what they're feeding them at Florida, but when the game gets down to the final minutes, they perform even better. The reason they're able to do this is because they're comfortable performing under pressure. This Florida Gators team has made comeback wins over and over and over. If you do that so many times, this team has zero fear when it comes to the final minutes, even if they're losing by a lot. Because if they've done it before, they can do it again. And in dealing with those situations in the past, that helps them better be able to deal with the anxiety and learn how to thrive under that pressure. But you have to make it a habit to practice performing under pressure.
There's that little play they like to run.
Clayton gets to the hoop.
Clutch.
Half per game. Aberdeen, his man was down. He takes advantage.
They different.
0 of 6 before that. Houck, spin, nice look. Condon gets it to go.
Now they're on a roll. Now they got momentum. And look at Houston. They're in disarray. Everyone's pointing at each other. Everyone's looking at each other. Everyone's putting their hands up because they don't know what's happening and they don't know how to respond to this failure. In moments like these, the leader needs to step up. They need to be encouraging each other and they need to be restarting the ball quickly so it decreases the momentum of Florida and gives them the confidence back.
Pass from Francis. Sharp, the drive, the deuce.
Didn't get a good angle.
I want you to really pay attention to how quickly Florida restarts the ball every single play. It doesn't matter if it's a regular play or if Houston makes a big, clutch, game-changing play. They do not care. They restart the ball in seconds. That decreases the momentum that the other team has, increases their confidence, and puts whatever play that was behind them.
They're really doing a nice job showing and recovering.
Roberts, hard drive.
That's his game.
Again, watch how quickly they restart. They're not moping around. They're not complaining. It does not matter. They're on to the next play. I love it from Florida.
Houston.
And that's a little stagger to give him a look.
Clinton, he goes out.
Clutch. Look at the contrast. Houston's, they're all walking around. They're not ready to try to restart the ball quickly. I'm telling you, it's a small detail, but it makes a huge, massive difference that you don't even realize. In these championship games, the mental side is what makes that small percentage difference. That is the difference between you winning the trophy and not.
The fake flipped it up. No, the tip in goes. The smallest man.
Quick restart again.
He likes to get right in the lane.
Usain lines it up.
Nice piece.
It's Richard who does get a piece.
That blue shirt's all there. They should have grabbed it.
In that play, one of the Gators made a great block, but their teammates didn't grab the ball, which was a crucial mistake, and they could have got the ball back. But notice, no one's blaming each other. No one's getting upset with each other. No one's yelling at each other. They understand that it was a mistake, but they put it past them and move on.
Cryer didn't have a chance. Great help. Clayton over to Martin. He drives. Martin Baker, no. Foul call.
It's cool to see that Clayton Jr. in the last few seconds, even though he's the best player on the court, he passed it over to his teammate to take that crucial shot. That shows that the leader has trust in his teammates, and in doing so, each teammate will trust each other. Seems like there's high trust and high confidence in each of the players' abilities on the Florida Gators.
To the free throw line where he shoots it at 76%. We're all tied up. Florida has led for a grand total of 17 seconds tonight.
If you heard the announcer, Florida has only led for 17 seconds the entire night, yet here they are coming back and able to get their lead in the last few seconds. This team is a testament to never give up, and also that the power of believing can help you overcome any odds.
The screen, Sharp with 10.
She lost it.
Out of bounds. Florida does. They surround Houck. Now to Clayton. Ahead. Over Aberdeen's head. He tracks it down and then.
Both teams made a mistake in the final minute, but how will they respond?
The Cougars completed the furious comeback. Aberdeen makes the second attempt at 65.
Houston still has a chance to tie it with a 2 or win it with a 3. It's in Houston's hands right now. Let's see what they do with it.
The furious comeback. Aberdeen makes the second attempt at 65-63.
I do want you to keep in mind that Houston's best player, Sharp, the player right here, he just made a mistake on the last play, and now it's probably going to be up to him to take the final shot. And he'll likely be thinking of that last mistake in this final shot. So will he be clutch? Has he been working on performing under pressure? Or is he a great skilled player but hasn't worked on performing under pressure, which is why in the final minutes he hasn't been able to perform like he had in the past.
Yeah, give it up. Cryer, 6 seconds, 5 seconds, Sharp.
He walked. He can't touch it.
He can't.
I don't know why he didn't shoot it there. I think Clayton Jr. might have got close enough to maybe get a tip on it, but you don't know unless you shoot it. From the last play, Sharp might have been afraid of failure and didn't want to just shoot it and get blocked or shoot it and have a bad shot. So it might have been easy for him to have this mistake happen, and he could call it just a freak accident. That's disappointing from Houston that they weren't even able to get a shot off. That's proof right there of how important it is to work on dealing with pressure. I know that the Gators have a lot of experience dealing with pressure, but it seems like Houston haven't been practicing performing under pressure in tight games. One way to do this is by, in practice, you could have a scrimmage with your team and the loser has to do a punishment, or have a scrimmage or do a one-on-one with your teammate and tell yourself there's 1 minute left, let's see if you can score. Whatever you do, you need to be practicing under pressure, because if you desire to get a trophy, a medal, and win first place, then your performance will get exposed in the final minutes and seconds of a game if you haven't been performing and practicing performing under pressure.
1 second, and it's over! Florida is back on top!
Congrats to Florida. Out of all the Final Four teams, their team seemed to have the best mindset, with bouncing back from failure, dealing with pressure, and great teamwork. And in championship games, when the margins are so small, that's the difference.